Hey everybody, it's Ryan back for another review. This time it's of my Evoc Hip Pack Race 3 liter. I'll get into what that name means in a moment. This is a pack I've been using since late December, and I've been using it mostly for fat biking. It's got nice nylon construction. You can read all about what it's got, what it's made of, and all of that on evocusa.com, Evoc's website. It's got, the zipper pulls made of plastic here, not of metal, and it's a touch that I think is nice when you're out fat biking, because metal is just plastic's non-conductive. Let's just get into it. There's a couple of things going on. It's got a it's not built like the Evoc Protector series. It's got the neoprene strap. This is just a straight up nylon webbing. I've got this buckle doubled back. I have it in a fixed position so it doesn't loosen up on me. So when I'm wearing it, it just doesn't loosen up. I've got that set on both sides here. Kind of a neat little trick. Kind of do with all of those things that have those straps. Because figure, like when you pick these up to throw them on, they just they loosen on you, and that's just a pain. Yes, I know, first world problems. Anyway, let's start with this side of the pack. There's a webbed pocket here, and in this one, while I think I'm supposed to keep snacks in here. This one holds my, let's see if I can do this. This one holds my Crank Brothers M17 tool. So there's that. On the side here, there's the exit port for the water hose to come out of. I'll get into that piece in a minute. On the other side of the pack, you have a pouch to hold your water bottle. It's a water bottle carrier. It's got a cinch strap that comes around it that hooks up kind of nicely. This is part of their venti-flap system, which I'll get into in a moment. There's a pocket over here that I use for my car key. It's a closed up pocket. Seems to be fairly water resistant. I haven't totally checked the waterproofness of this, but I will tell you that in the muddy rides I've done for the winter, muddy and snowy rides I've done for the winter, I haven't had anything get into this pack. Any moisture get to the inside that soak things through. When you flip this up, you have a couple of things. You have this pull strap. This is supposed to actually hang down and outside, so it's supposed to be like this, but I don't like it that way because it's just another thing to snag. Could be like a tail hook kind of thing, and snag on a tree, or it just gets dirty. So this is kind of nice. It's sort of one of those features that I really like. Evoc kind of has things well thought out, and this is no exception. So in this particular case, I got a few things going on. In here, I won't take them all out of the pack. I've got a tape measure, mostly for reference measurements between when I'm transferring between bikes, or I'm riding a demo bike or riding someone else's bike. So there's that. I've got a mini chain tool. This is a Lezyne damselfly chain tool. I have a bag of bits here for the for chain links. I'm running Eagle and I'm running XX1, so I've got spare chain links, and I've got some power links in there, and a couple of rubber bands because you never know when you're going to need those. Moving up to the inside here, I've got a pouch that's got quite a bit of kit. So I just opened up the pouch. I'll get in. I'll show you what's in here. So I've just, basically I carry, see if I can do it this way. I've got a CO2 primed and ready to go. I keep my CO2s in a 700C spare inner tube. So great spare uses for inner tubes, especially popped ones. I've got for my road bike, I had a spare tube, and I basically cut a section, and I used it to cradle some CO2 cartridges. It serves two purposes. When you're riding, CO2 banging together is really annoying. It's almost as annoying as chain slap was in the late 90s. and early 2000s. So there's that. I've also got a third CO. You know, maybe you can never have enough. I have a third CO2 cartridge. This one's primed. I cut a little V in here. You don't have to do that, but cut a little V in here just to, you know, make this fit nicely. This is the one that I hold. If you're not wearing gloves, and if you've ever done a CO inflation, you know that these things get ice cold really quickly. So this is just to hold it. Real simple, you know, real simple and a good recycle, upcycle use. I carry a spare derailleur cable. Serves two purposes. With most of the bikes I ride, I've got a, if I have a dropper post failure that happens to be with the cable, I can use it for that as well. But it's, yes, it's also for derailleurs. It's primary use. This is a Lesign kit. I don't use this very much, but I do keep it with me. It's a patch kit, rubber patch kit. You pull the ends off, and you pull the ends off of these, and inside you have the rubber patch kits. I have to question whether I really have a practical use for this anymore, because kind of what's left in here, you can kind of see the writing on it. I keep and I used one today, in fact, for a guy that I was riding with. These are Dynaplug tire plugs, and these things are amazing. I've got a review that I have been that I need to do for adventures on my fat bike, where I used these plugs, and you know, pretty amazing results. And so I carry spares. This is the Dynaplug tool itself. Because I keep them in their factory packaging, there's no need for me to you know, put them in here. I suppose I could, but I like keeping them in their factory packaging, because the factory packaging keeps the Dynaplugs separate, the rubber separate, so they don't stick to each other. So that's that. Again, that's these guys. I've been using these guys for, now it's starting to look like a review. Less of a review about the pack and more of a review about the Dynaplugs. But just going to show, and then what's left in here is a couple things. I've got a Stan's no tubes valve core remover, and you know, that's the working, whoops, and this is the working end of it. And then I've got a tire lever. I've got a few zip ties. I don't need to drag those out. And then I've got this. This is my Fox Float X2. I suppose it works on a DHX2 coil shock as well. It's a 6 mil on one end and a 3 mil on the other, because those are externally controllable, high-speed compression, high-speed rebound, low-speed compression. Excuse me. The high-speed side is this, and then the low-speed compression, low-speed rebound is this end. So that's that. That's the end of that. I keep a couple pairs of rubber gloves in here for chain work and for otherwise, you know, making adjustments. And you don't want to get your hands dirty or get your gloves dirty and then get your bars dirty and your grips dirty. And then what's left in here is maybe I do or don't have to dig them out. I've got 4. Yeah, I can't believe this. I have 4 derailleur hangers in here for 4 different bikes, and because I use this pack, and I don't want to be kept out without it, I keep these with me. So I've got my Chromag one, my Trek, one for my Trek Farley, one for the Evil, and one for the Santa Cruz 5010. So that's, you know, there are 2 in each in each of these pockets, and these are stretchable web pockets. And I keep a 4-ounce load of this stuff's good, 4-ounce load of sealant in here, and this is the good stuff. So this is the kind of stuff that I use for trailside maintenance, and this is from Orange Seal. I've actually replaced what's in here with the material, with the variant that's for Sub-Zero, because it works just as well in all conditions. But I got it for winter riding for the fat bike. So that takes care of the front compartment. I already started to put some things away. But in the main compartment, which is where you put your, which behind here is where you store your bladder. I'll talk about that in a second. Well, hang on. So I got some things that need to come out now. So I've got a neck gaiter and a head warmer. Those are, we're done with those for the season. Actually, this I rode with the other day because I had just grafted together a KMC 11-speed chain that had been giving me some fits, and it looks like it held together under some high torque loads, so I won't need to, but I rode with a full spare chain for that ride just in case. So there's a pretty decent space down here. I was at one point, there's a Blackburn pump, mammoth pump, you know, stuck in the bottom of this. And I was running was riding with a full-sized, with a fat bike tube, you know, across here as well. I've got some Kleenex in the corner there for when nature calls or if you need it. And then up in here where the bladder would normally go, I've got some first aid stuff. We'll take that out for a moment and just point out. So in here, you've got the bladder section. You've got a nice little Velcro clip that holds the bladder. Let's grab that. And it's this guy. So it's got a quick release. It's got a quick release bung on it. So you can take that off, and you can wash this, and actually just washed it. And so this guy holds 1.5 liters. And so my verdict on it is, when this thing is full, or even when it's at a liter or 1.5 liters, and you do your best effort to stuff this when it's full into this section, two things happen. One, it's a real pain. It's just a real pain to fuss with, and it's just one less thing that you really want to have to fuss with. You want to go out and enjoy yourself, not have to spend as much time preparing for your ride as you do riding. And that's kind of what happens when you got a 1.5 liter bladder. You're talking about a 1 to 2 hour ride or so, depending on the season, altitude, and temperature. And so I can't recommend it for that. It doesn't work for me that way. So I'm not comfortable. You know, I tried it. I did give it the old college try. I stuffed everything that I showed you. I had in there, and I ran with the bladder, and it just didn't work out well for me. It was overstuffed, noticeably heavier, and just didn't feel right. I don't know, just didn't feel right with that whole thing. Just, sort of on the small of my back. I used it correctly, read the instructions and all of that. It just didn't quite work for me. Now, if you carry less than I do, you don't have 4 derailleur hangers, not that takes up a lot of space, and you choose not to carry, let's say a full flat tire kit, including, tire plugs and sealant and a valve core remover and, some other bits. If you've got other setups, that could help me out, please let me know. But if you do with less of that stuff, then sure, this the bladder will fit in. This bladder will fit in a whole lot easier. But just didn't work out for me. So I tend to ride it without the bladder, and I use either my bike holds a water bottle with a water bottle cage, or if it doesn't, like on the other day when I had my 5010 and I don't have a cage running on that Santa Cruz 5010. Or on my Evoc, I put a bottle in the carrier there. So the last couple things to follow up on, just to cover on this bag, are the exterior functional features, and there are 2 notable ones. I keep grabbing this by the grab handle. No, that's not one of the functional features, but so what you've got here, Evoc make use of this sort of corrugated formed foam inserts that effectively basically keep the pack off of your back and let air flow around it. So you sort of alleviate some of that sweaty back feeling, although it's not completely gone. And the evidence of that, of course, is my jerseys and where they're soaked and where they're not. In the limited riding that I've done in higher ambient temperatures. So that's one. I think this thing works, beautifully. So it's, you're as expected, high quality German engineering and manufacturing, and actually can't tell you where it was made, but I can tell you where it was designed. And I tend to like the things from Aragon and from Evoc for that reason. Just well thought out German engineering. But the other piece is, and this actually works, this venti flap system I referenced earlier, pretty simple. So on the inside, you have these stretchable flaps on either side. You have one over here, and you've got one here. And they act as a sort of suspension, not in the way that our bikes work, but as a sort of suspension, and I'll describe that in a second. So once you strap this on, and you're all wrapped up, when you're descending, or let's start with when you're climbing. So these straps, these cinch straps, these compression straps, are at the moment open. Effectively, what happens is when you cinch this up, it pulls the pack toward your body and keeps it tight to your body, your lower back, for upper hip, your waist, lower back, for the descent. It's not jumping around, and this thing really works. So functionally, this part of it works really well. It's not bouncing around, but what you notice is, geez, man, that must be uncomfortable. Why, Well, and so Evoc designed this for when you get down to the bottom of your rowdy descent, your all-mountain tour, whatever it is you're doing, you're climbing back up. What you do is you loosen these, and it effectively, it goes from here to like this, and what it does is it creates a gap in your back that lets air come back through, and just kind of let the air pass around. So that's a nice little feature that actually does work, and I can say that it works.